Good morning. It is June 14th, 2018. It is Thursday. Just working on Spell Adventure. Working on one of the scenes. I'm working on actually the home scene of Spell Adventure, where the narrative is taking place. I mean, the narrative takes place through the whole thing, you know, but I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say it. It's just the narrative-heavy part of the game. So I made some nightshade plants. Test bed, we'll go ahead and bring this up. We're doing pretty great with the house. So what I want to add now are two things. I want to add a rig to these guys here, the blinds, and I want to add light switches. Oh, I guess I should probably add lights as well. So one thing about this house is that the kitchen had lights. There we go. And curtains as well, okay. Light switches. Light switch, short aim, switch, and here is my switch. Alright, so we have a light switch. Let's increase that by 2, I think. There we go. Just so we can get, I guess, a larger... There we go. Okay. So we have that. Now what we're going to do... Hello, evil dust mite. How are you? We're just making light switches for a giant house. you can see the house. They're making light switches for this house. That's good. We got TVs, we got lights, so we're making light switches now, that's what we're doing. Okay, cube. Let's grab both of these. Here. Oh jeez. Night shift. There's a late shift, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to go to work. About an hour. Do this right before I go. Take the switch. What do you do? Yeah, I feel you. It's a long nighttime shift, man. Are you in the U.S.? 10 to 7. Yeah, I guess you must be. You're probably close, right? I'm in PA, Pennsylvania. Ohio? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Pretty close. Super close. I'm over in Philly. So I think I'm like 8 hours, 7, 8 hours, I think. Well, I guess depending on where you are in Ohio. So. Alright, so we put that there. Where'd you go? Did you go to University of Pitt? Or like Duquesne? Artist too. How long ago was that? Was that recently? Clip. Cloth. Clip. Okay, good. So we had a light switch. That's good. So that's there. This is gonna be a little better. Back in 2003. Okay. So yeah, I think you and I are probably the same age then, roughly, like mid 30s, early to mid 30s. Yeah, I graduated from high school in 2002. From around Pittsburgh, from near Pittsburgh. It's pretty close. Well, not pretty close. I'm from the Mon Valley. Are you from that area? Are you from? Are you originally from Ohio and you went to Pitt, or did you end up moving to Ohio? Look at me just floating around this thing. All right, let me. Whoops. From Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I'm from the outskirts of Pittsburgh. Not really even close to Pittsburgh. I mean, we would go there maybe every couple of weeks to do, I don't know, to do something. I don't really remember, but I'm from like the rural area. High school in '99. I had well, I still have, my stepbrother graduated from, there we go, went to Pitt, graduated from there, lived in Oakland and Pittsburgh, so I would go visit him after college a lot. We'd have a really good time. We would play a lot of video games together. A lot. There we go. So let's bring this out a bit. Wilkinsburg when you were there? Yeah. Yeah, Oakland was interesting. Now that I think about it, I don't really recall too much of it. I mean, we did walk around. This is also back in like 2000, probably around the same time, 2004. I don't remember like what the crime was like. I remember there was just a lot of students, and it was like the students were like heavily gentrifying the area, you know. So it was just like, I don't know, it was nuts. Pretty crazy. We spent a lot of time down on the south side on Carson Street. If you remember that. Okay, wait, let's separate this out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to separate this out. We're going to mark seams, or just like that. And then we're going to have to get metal, and we're going to have to put metal around there. What should we do? How should we do that? Let's do this. This is how we're going to do this. Boop, 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 boop. Take. Okay, so that's that. We're going to separate this by selection. So we have this piece, and then we have this piece. Now the reason we did that is because in Substance Painter, we're going to go back in, and we're going to just going to make that second piece just all metal. Okay, we're going to extend that a little bit. There you go. Squirrel Hill was nice. Squirrel Hill was definitely nice. Well, I say was, like I'm in the Fallout. I'm in the wasteland of Fallout. Like it's no longer there. The Squirrel Hill is nice. Art Institute. What did you study in the Art Institute? If you don't mind me asking. Okay, cool. So this is gonna go back to 1. If we look at it, we're looking at that. So that's gonna be cool. Let me check some picture references for this house, of which there are a lot. Oh, I did it wrong. Graphic design. Did you use any 3D? Any 3D work? Have you dabbled? Have you continued to dabble? Let me see here. I'm looking at my picture references. I'm just looking for light switches. Okay, we got one there as well. Actual light switches. Okay, there's 2 in there. I know what sometimes happens with people that I know personally. I mean, it's happened enough that it's like fresh in my mind. To computer animations, I messed around with 3D Studio Max a bit back then, but I've done some stuff in Blender recently. Yeah, that's what I'm using. That's what I'm using. I highly recommend Blender, and then you could pick up Unity as well for free. If you're ever at all interested in like game design. But you can pick up Unity for free, and you can mess around with things like reflection probes. Boop, boop. Oh, we already baked them, didn't we? Hell yeah! Nice, love this. You go in the asset store and check it out, do some tutorials, learn how to code a little bit. I don't know if you're ever interested in that, but yeah, Blender's great. You got Unity? Yeah, it's a sweet, sweet program. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Easier than UE4 to get used to. Unreal Engine 4 I found is really, really highly advanced. I mean, it can be, like right out of the box, you know, you can do a lot with it. So it's really formulated for like a team. Although there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of small, really small studios and like 1-2 man bands that are doing stuff in Unreal. So I'm definitely not knocking it. Unreal Engine 4 is really powerful. I've had a lot of experience with getting in over our heads. Knowing people that got in over their heads. We did personally several times. You know, it's the hardest part, I think, is just like learning where your boundaries are. By no means does that mean don't keep, pushing those boundaries, but it's like you don't want to commit to an idea that you can't do, because a lot of the learning process takes a hell of a lot of energy out of you. So it's just really tough to keep on it. If an entire project is just you learning, it's significantly lowers the chance that it's going to get completed. Here we go. Okay, so this actually doesn't exist over here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab these. We're going to bring them down one. It's actually pretty damn close right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's 5 switches there. Have you made any games? Are you part of like a little team, like a small team? Have you worked on any games, or are you dabbling? Let's see here. Okay, let us take this. Go to 2. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I understand that feeling. It's easy to get distracted. It's I found what helps me is just to remember the mantra that like you are what you do continually. You are what you do. Like we are. I am my habits. So over the past couple of years, I've been like adjusting my habits so that I'll do a little bit each day, and I'll do it at on the same time. You know what I mean? So like every morning at about 6 o'clock, I wake up. 6 to 6:30, I wake up. I've been getting hit with a lot of depression recently, so I've been like fighting it off. So, but this really helps, this really helps fight that off. Like, just get up, you gotta do it, and then it helps push me out of it, It's like, oh, okay, we got through it, And not only did we get through it, but we also did some work, you know what I mean? Like, that's That's where I've been. That's what I've been trying to do. But I understand the distraction. I've tried to work myself out of the distraction. So I no longer get distracted unless it's literally by work. Like, I get distracted by my work now, which is a good thing. Like, I had to crawl out of that myself. Adventure Game Studio, that sounds kind of familiar. It was based on a poem a cousin and his friend wrote in high school, but they weren't giving me much feedback on how rooms were supposed to look, so it never got finished. Were you enjoying it? Were you enjoying working on that? Like yourself, you know? I mean, if you weren't getting much feedback, I imagine that that's not an enjoyable group to work within, obviously, but the work you were doing, were you enjoying it? Alright, so what I have to do here is make a new thing here. So this one looks completely different from the other one. Okay, we had a lot of different light styles in our house. Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay, now we're gonna move this over here. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for burnout. I mean, unless a thing like that is like a personal pet project, you know, those are. I mean, you can't. That's like getting an assignment in school, right? And it's like a group assignment, but you end up doing everything. You just get all burned out and pissed off at people. I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's what it kind of angers me to to read that because I mean, you know, they're not. No one else is pitching in. I mean, you might have taken it upon yourself, or you know, whatever that particular story is. But I understand the frustration that can cause. That's a lot of work to heap onto yourself. There is a game, a really great game if you haven't played it, called what is it called? Oh my God, I have it. It's called To the Moon, and it was one guy, one dude made it. I think his studio is called Freebird Games, but it was just him. I think he did it in college. It's like a 7 to 10 hour mini RPG. It's not even really an RPG. It's more like a narrative, like a narrative heavy game. And you go and you do like mini games, but like there's no open worldness or anything. It's like really story heavy. But I guess he did everything to it except for a little bit of the music. Some of the music was outsourced, but I think he did pretty much everything else. But that's an example that was like that was like a passion project. You know, like when something's a passion project, you can do it. But if it's just something you're doing on the side or whatever, you know, like thinking other people are gonna help you, I found it can be excruciating. So I definitely feel for you with that. Okay, let's grab this. Okay. Okay, this light switch had 5 light switches. 2, 4, 6, I need 10. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I imagine you'd need a lot of reference material, right? So it's like you would need to almost act like a... First of all, if I put myself in that position, I would need to really want to do that, right? So that's number one. Number two is, as an artist, what I would do then is, if nobody was giving me feedback, then I would read the play and be like, okay, how do I feel in these scenes, right? I'd act like, I'd be like Daniel Day-Lewis, who had to, like, you know, he had to, for whenever he did Lincoln, you know, there are no recordings of Abraham Lincoln's voice, so he had to, like, kind of go back historically and be like, okay, what did Abraham Lincoln maybe sound like, right? And then get references like Walt Whitman and things like that, like really old recordings. So it's like, if I did something like that, then I would go look for references myself on, okay, what do these scenes feel like? Find the references. I mean, you know, if I really wanted to do it, I would definitely do it, make it happen. But that's a lot of work. I do not fault you. That's a hell of a lot of work. Do you have any ideas for anything else you want to do? Like, is there anything new in the pipeline? Boom. Huh. Okay, with that, and that. What is this? Oh, that's these little corners here. Okay. Alright, so we have light switch. It was a tad bit skinnier than this, so let's go back. Let's just... Okay. Okay, what I'm likely going to do is import this into Substance Painter, paint one of them, and then just delete the other ones. Sounds pretty interesting. Good. Then we should be able to click, 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 click. Okay. So as long as the origin is set to that rotation point, the light will turn on and off. Cool. So we have a light switch. And I think it is an accurate size. Nice. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. So that's good there. One thing we do need is a door. I guess we have light switches, right? One. There was a switch here too. Let me grab. Oops. Not good. light switch here. Actually, this was a dimmer. This house is based on a real house, so I have a bunch of photo references, like a lot. There we go. So this was a dimmer for this. Work with that, so let's game engine called Quest. Let me oh, hello. This is actually a dim pad. There we go. Cool. Let me make sure that this looks the way it should look. I don't think it does. So let's get rid of that vertice. That means I have floating vertices somewhere else as well. Cool. Good. Paste this for everybody else who's watching. This is the game engine you used for the text adventure. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Just moving these in a little bit. This part of the game is going to be like the high. It's going to be high fidelity, like graphically high fidelity. We're trying not to push any limits or boundaries, aside from just learning things on our own. So I'm just trying to be careful here to follow some actual things. This is corkboard, so I'm trying to follow actual blueprints, like I said. There were wine glasses up here. This held wine glasses. Maybe I'll make those later on in glass. Unity makes glass pretty interesting. Okay, good. We have light switches there. Those all work as well. Ah, and I was checking for more of these guys. Oh, hey. We just need this. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring these up here. Cool. It's working pretty perfectly, I think. Okay. One there. Okay, let's grab another one. Bring it to this little girl's room here, this little bedroom. Cool. I remember, I think there was one in the hallway. I guess there must have been. There must have been one. The wine glass. Did you follow a tutorial for it? I remember I did a tutorial for like a glass bowl, I think it was. There we go. These might be a little too high, maybe? Let me see. Let's get right about there. Okay, and then one more in the bathroom. Okay, so we have a door there. I mean, it's just a slab. I was using this slab just for sizing of these doors. Okay, so if I then, what time is it? I still have 20 minutes. So let me. Test. Copy that there. And we'll paste it. Cool. Alright, great. So then it's going to load in the new home there. I basically just do this just so I can get more, more testing in. So okay, so it's going to bring in the new home. Alright, we'll let it do its thing. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so we got the light switches that we wanted. So we have these drawers. Okay, so I think it's probably loaded now. Cool. Let's check this out. Let me bring this back up. Lathe type effect where I just do the outline, rotates the outline. Oh, okay, I remember that, yeah. Nice, very nice. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, the wine inside just looks like more colored glass inside of it, but the glass looks really nice. Yeah, that lathe effect is really cool. Really helpful if you're doing something like that, not going from a central point. Okay, so we have this. So we have to do. So if you're using reflection probes, you want to make sure that light map static is on for the objects. So we'll go ahead and just rebake this. Cool. Alright, cool. So we have these, rebake this guy. Just go ahead and bake in everything. Bake it at 512. So the reflection probe takes 6 snapshots from around the central point wherever the probe is, and puts them all together into a cube map. And then that cube map is used on things like metallic reflections, mirror reflections, anything that has a reflection of its surrounding environment, and that's what the reflection probe does. So now you have basically this. You see where one of the maps are. Okay. Did I put one in here? I did. And then one in the bathroom. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then last one, and the bathroom 512 by 512. So these are pretty big images. Cool. Walk through here real quick. Oh, I'm unstable. My bit rate is unstable. Okay. Okay, so these are a bit too high, which is okay. Yeah, those are a bit too high. That one, I think, is good. Whoa, spoopy. Okay, that one was good. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I'm using like a 1920 by 720 monitor or whatever, so I think it's trying to capture all of that data. Um, so I'll try to adjust it, but yeah, and then eventually we're going to get just some builds out. Not anytime soon, probably at the end of summer, I imagine. But you know, we'll start letting people play it and everything. We want to, like, because we have more than this. This is the graphics test bed. So this is where I test all of the new stuff. Right now, I'm testing the home stuff, as you can see, and we have a major project that my brother is working in. He's doing all of the coding, so he's working in it so that he can do. He can make all of our game systems. So we have an inventory system, we have spell casting, we have health, damage, mana, we have puzzle systems. Like we have basically a whole game. We have enough to make a game. So now we're just putting it together with this home model, so we can start putting it together with like a narrative. So I'm testing it here. Is the point I'm trying to make? Because I'm testing it here in the graphics test bed. Very meticulously, very methodically. I'm trying to be very careful with it. So yeah, okay. So now one thing that I wanted to do as well was take these blinds. So you can see the whole house here. We want to take these blinds. We want to put a string connected to them, so you can click the string and then the blind rolls up. So that's one thing we want to do. Go ahead and save that. Okay, so let's fix the issue. Oh, hello. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we have those, and then, because we wanted to just lower these. Boom, boom, boom. Right, that's that. Cool, done. Couple other things we're going to do. Yeah, I just made these bulbs. There's actually... There's supposed to be little dudes inside. Oh, they are. Okay, there they are. See right there? The little crosses, like the little dudes on top. Cave near the house. Hold on. Yeah, I think I do remember you being on here as well. That was a long time ago. I was working on something very different. I mean, it was the same project, but it's evolved considerably since then. I think I was working on some kind of interior cave. Maybe there was a treasure chest. We got treasure chests working. I made barrels and things like that. So I think that was me. I think that was me. Yeah, must have been. I was yeah, that's our Temple of Light. So that's one of the main areas of puzzles. So the idea here is that this is a real house. This is a real place, and your character, you as the player, you come here, and your character can't remember why he's here. Right? Yeah. Yep. You had to pick up like spell components. We've ended up with what we've done is we've simplified that greatly. So my brother was working on a big advanced alchemy system, and we had meetings basically every week or every 2 weeks at the most. But we'll sit down for like 4 or 5 hours and we'll flesh out what we've done so far and what we want to continue to do. And we whittled all of those items, all of the item crafting down to one single item, which is these guys, the Nightshades. So you'll basically pick them up, you'll collect them, and then you'll use them to upgrade the spells on your spell staff, which is essentially what you'll have. So you have two worlds that you inhabit. The first world is the real world, which is just the house. That's the real world, just the house. You'll fall asleep during the day in the house, and you'll wake up in the fantasy world. And the fantasy world is where all of the game mechanics take place. In the real world, there are no game mechanics. You can interact, but you get no UI. There's no need for health. There's nothing. You're just a person. But and then when you fall asleep and go into the fantasy world, that's when all of the game mechanics arise, and you swap back and forth between the two. And through doing that, it tells a story, tells a narrative. Like I said, during our meetings, we're fleshing everything out. I'm not going to give any of that away, but you can basically see what's happening here. Visually, I guess. But yeah, you have to get items you had to get items to cast spells. No longer do you have to do that. You can collect health potions and mana potions. Those are the two potions we have now, and you can collect quest items, but the quest items are very, very specific. You use them just to continue on your path and do things in the world that need to be done. Like opening major doors to get at the end of temples and things like that. So there's essentially three types of items. There's the Nightshade, which is a spell component, which is just one type of item. Then there are potions that are usable, and then there are quest items. And that's so far. But the idea is that's what we've learned over the years of developing games. We've been doing this for about 7 years. What we've learned is, treat it like any other craft. Is you get a giant piece of wood and you whittle it down. Right, whittle it down, keep whittling it down. Like unless you're a big studio, you're likely not going to make a big game, And what does big mean? What is a big game? Well, that depends on how much you can do individually as a person. I always, now we start small. Whenever we started years and years ago, we wanted to make a. This is really big. We wanted to make an MMO. That was what we wanted to do, and that's just, the answer is no. The answer is no, do not make an MMO. Because MMOs are gigantic, and they take teams of huge amounts of people. Unless... Wait, which one's this? That's this little guy. Let's see if this... Okay. Damn. Alright, forget that. Unless you do something like Realm of the Mad God, which is... Let's see if this is even still here. I think this was made by one person. You can do something like this. Oh, okay, so you need Flash to play this. But this was an MMO made by one person, but that's not the kind of MMO that we wanted to make. We wanted to make the MMO like we always played when we were kids. So it's like you learn as you go on. Just take everything slow, take it easy, relax, learn your craft, learn your skill, discipline yourself so that you can get through the excruciatingly boring times, right? Like I've been working on this house in particular for about, I think, 2 weeks now. It's maybe I'm 50% through, and there's other things I want to work on. There's a lot of things I want to work on. I want to start putting the actual world together, the game together, but you got to do the basics first, and that takes a long time. God, I love this. So we'll likely end up animating these, which means I gotta really watch the backs there. I probably have to go back into Substance Painter and redo the textures. Or at least the texture on the back there. So it should be white on there as well. Okay. Okay, what time is it? 8:11. Okay, what was I doing? I guess I can try to rig this. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh, this is gonna be crazy. How many bones can I get out of this? I mean, I could do this now that I think about it. It's actually not a really huge deal. I should do this in a separate thing, though. Let me grab this. Let me export as an OBJ. Selection only, do not write materials. Okay, we're going to export that as an OBJ. Go ahead and save the home test. Save it. We're going to go to new. Fire up a new guy. Get rid of everything. Import the OBJ. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, window blinds. Really, really basic window blinds. Let me see here. These are all. Okay. Now what we can do. Whoops. Oh yeah, I didn't save as anything, did I? What I'll likely do is maybe put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 bones in here. Let me see. You there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I could probably do it every 4. I really want to do it so there's a bone per. I mean, that would be pretty amazing. I know I could do it. There's no probably about it. Alright, and basically just extrude. I mean, this is going to be very meticulous, but this will be super cool when it's done. Right? So then what we'll do is we'll put a bone per blind, and then we can just roll this puppy up in an animation, and then reverse that inside of Unity, and then we can just connect it to a trigger, and just have it play the animation. Right? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put a bone per dude, and then we will weight paint them so each bone gets a blind. And then they're all connected through the skeleton. Whoops. We're almost halfway there. Right, and then we'll be able to basically just make a string and attach the string to a trigger. When you click the string, it'll roll the blind up. But we still have all that work ahead of us. But that was something my brother requested. So when he requests something, I'll do it. Yeah, weight painting is not fun unless I guess you think it is fun, but I do not, and evidently you do not. I know there's some people I'm sure that really, really enjoy it, like people that rig things professionally. There's also algorithms that are out now, very basic ones, but they'll auto rig for you, they'll auto weight paint. I have no idea how any of that works, that is beyond me. There we go, almost there. The time is 8:15. I'm gonna have to leave in a couple of minutes. So there we go. So we have that. We have bone. What was it? Parent. this wrong. Nope. Oh, it's been so long since I weight painted. Hold on, I can do it. I'll have to check this out a little bit later. I forget how to get it for individual bone. Okay, so I think they are parented. Yes, they are. Cool. Lupin parents is what I thought. See if I got it right before the parenting. There we go. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So it's basically started. A game to use for VR chat. I rigged or fixed the broken parts of the mesh, but when I got to the weight painting, that is where it got really difficult. Yeah, once I've done it several times already, and I had it down. It's like riding a bike, kind of. You know, like once you do it over and over and over again, then it'll start coming back to you. But if you don't do it constantly, it can really get away from you. Like now, I remember what to do. But unfortunately, I have to actually get going. Because you're home from work, but now I gotta go to work. So, yeah. I think you're following me. If you're not, follow. I don't know if my email is up there or not, but if you wanna get in touch or whatever, that is my professional email. Feel free to shoot me an email if you want. You can follow on Instagram, Twitter, everything down there like that. So, alright, man. Well, thank you so much. It's been super awesome talking to you. Really great. It's absolutely a pleasure. And just keep in touch, man. Let's keep talking about this stuff. Alright? I love talking about it. Alright. Show me what you're doing. Alright, I gotta get going now. Alright, thanks so much. Have a good day, okay? See you, man. Bye, everyone.